Hello everyone, this is Ma'am Amano, and this lecture video is all about the exogenic processes under the topic Geomorphism, in which we will be discussing the weathering, mass movements, erosion, and deposition, and its subtopics. So, I have here the definition first. These are processes that take place at or near the Earth's surface that makes the surface wear away. So, ibig sabihin ito yung cause kung bakit nababawasan or nagka-crack or nag-i-split or nawi-wear away yung surface ng Earth. So, we have here first the weathering, which is the processes which break down rocks. And we have the first type of that, physical weathering or mechanical weathering, in which this is the process by which rocks and minerals break down into smaller pieces without change on its chemical composition. So, an example of this is a temperature freeze and thaw, which I have here an example. This can be applied or can be observed in places wherein there is a winter weather, like for example in Canada or in Korea or in Japan. So, for example, you have here a rock, and then during summer, there is a water that collects in that crack. Then, during winter, so as the temperature drop, there will be a solidification of the water here. It will freeze and it forces the crack to widen, mag-wide. And then the water here will seep downward and then magko-contract ulit, and then it will have the water get deeper into the crack, and then it will be solidified again, and then the repeated expansion and contraction causes further cracks till the rock splits. So this is the weathering of that, the weathering away or the split of the rock. So, another example of physical weathering or mechanical weathering is caused by humans. So, for example, nag-hiking ka, ayan, dun sa paa mo, may mga alikabok na nadadala, di ba? So, that is how you weather the surface of this land. Another example is by animals. For example, yung mga aso ninyo, yung mga pusa ninyo na naglalakad sa labas, i-scratch nila yung soil dito. So, nakakapagdala sila ng particles, nababawasan or na-abrase, nagkakaroon ng abrasion na tinatawag, or pagkasugat, pagka-scrape, nag-i-scrape yung surface ng land, so nababawasan yon. That is weathering, how you are away the surface of the earth. And then, we also have here the chemical weathering. This is the breakdown of rock through chemical processes like acid rain. So, this is your chemical weathering. We have some examples of this chemical weathering. We have the solution, carbonation, and hydration. So, sa carbonation, ito yung may acid. Okay? For example, acid rain, umulan, for example, sumabog yung vulkan and di may acid yon. Okay? And then, it will react on the atmosphere and then it will cause acid rain. Tapos, kapag umagsak na yung acid rain sa lupa, okay, yung matigas na bato, nasa-soften niya. So, na-scrape yung surface din ng bato. So, that is how you change or break down the rock through acid rain or chemical weathering. So, I have here the reaction with water. So, for example, yung rock matagal na nakalubog sa tubig or hydration natin na tinatawag. For example, a limestone or a marble na nakalubog ng matagal sa water. For example, lumalambot siya, nababawasan siya. And then, nag-alter yung chemical composition. Nagkakaroon siya ng orange na chemical na kulay. Ibig sabihin, it is caused by the hydration. Another example, we have here the reaction with oxygen, in which it causes the rock to have a color red, which is induced by rust. For example, merong ferric oxide yung rock. Kapag nag-react yun sa oxygen, it will cause an reddish color. Okay? That is with rust. And then reaction with acid, for example, the acid rain, or animals that emits acids when it comes, let us say, mosses, or let us say, leeches. Okay? Then I have here the biological weathering. This biological weathering is the weathering of the Earth's surface or the wear away of rocks, in which it involves the plants, okay, and animals as well. So, for example, we have here, diba, for example, sa isang lupa, maliit pa lang yung halaman, tapos may mga ugat siya. Pero habang lumalaki siya, nagkakarak na yung bato, kasi lumalaki rin yung ugat niya, nagkakaroon ng splittage. For example, katulad niyan, nagkakarak yung bato. And another example is this one. Yan. Okay? Ano pa ba? When it comes to the biological weathering in terms of animals, nagbabarrow sila, for example, the rabbit, nagbabarrow sila, di ba, gumagawa sila ng tirahan doon. Tapos, ayan, nawi-wear away nila yung rock, nai-split nila. Okay? Like, for example, yung foxes, para hindi sila masyadong malamigan, nagbabarrow sila doon sa loob. Okay? Binubutas nila yung lupa. That is how they wear away the surface of the earth. Another example, yung mga nangingitlog naman na mga ibon, nag-aaro din sila, nagubutas din sila sa beaches, and then binabaon nila yung mga itlog nila. So, they are one of the agents of weathering. So, next we have here the mass movement. The definition of this one is that it is the downslope movement of rock and sediment due to gravitational forces. We have types of that. Landslide, which is rapid. Mudslide, rapid. Ibig sabihin, mabilis lang yung movement. Slump, moderate. And then creep, it is slow. So, ito yung example ng mass movement natin. This is a landslide. So, ito dati ay isang bundok, kulay green lahat. But then, due to, let us say, illegal logging, and then, umulan, for example, or kahit hindi umulan, basta nagkaroon lang ng earthquake, for example, nagalaw yung movement. And then, dahil wala nga siyang puno para i-hold tong soil na to, para magkaroon ng compaction, para hindi siya maging loose soil, kung tinatawag natin loose soil, gumuho siya. Ayan. Makita ninyo dito yung mga bahay at naapektuhan yung mga bahay dyan. Okay? Bigla na lang siyang bumagsak. Another example is this one. So, this one is very dangerous kasi hindi nalalaman kung kailan siya babagsak actually. Although there are predictions, but then, mabilis yung movement, di ka makakapag-prepare. Another example I have here, the mudslide. Mabilis din to. So, this is the lahar. It occurs kapag sobrang basa na nung bundok. As in, wala talagang green leaves na, wala na siyang mga puno. And then, umulan, malakas talaga yung ulan, bagyo. And then, it will create a putek, like material, and then that will slide on the houses or towns. Yan, that's the landslide. Rapid, and it is very dangerous kasi rapid movement yan. Then, I have here the slump. So, this applies on beaches, for example, or in coastal areas wherein daan yung tubig, daan siya ng daan, and then due to the gravity, dahil nga na-wear away niya yung surface dito, bumabagsak kasi daan dito yung beach, 'di ba? Daan dito yung tubig. Tapos nababawasan siya dito. Ang mangyayari dito rin, babagsak na rin siya. Slump, ibig sabihin pagyuko or pagbaba ng land area. Ayan, for example. So this one is moderate. Kailangan magbalik-balik muna yung tubig. But then we have here the slowest type of mass movement, which is the creep, which applies on soils. Sa mga bundok naman yan. So ano nangyayari dito? We have here, nag-ripple yung soil. Ibig sabihin, due to gravity, tapos due to the limited vegetation on the area, it causes the soil to ripple on this part, pababa. Downward slope din yan. Kasi kapag loose soil, for example, dito may mga puno, but then dito walang gaanong puno na nag-hold or para maging compact yung soil. So, due to gravity, it is normal na lie down yan. So, it is the slowest type of mass movement, travels only a few centimeters per year, and then the raising and towing of the ground results in gradual downhill movement of the soil. The structures that were once vertical will tilt downhill. Kaya kapag nagtayo ka ng bahay dyan, mapapansin mo, yung bahay mo tumatabingi pababa. Okay? Okay, this is the example of the creep. Ayan. Then, let us discuss the erosion. It is a geological process in which the earthen materials are worn away or the weathered rock are being transported by natural forces such as wind or water. So, from weathering, pupunta tayo ngayon sa erosion. Siyempre, na-wear away mo na, nabaklas mo na yung parts niya, na-abrase mo na. We also have here next the erosion. Ito na yung transporting the rocks from one place, okay, papunta sa kung saan. And then, erosion by water. We have two types of that, running water and groundwater. So, I have here the running water. So, for example, this is a valley, tapos mayroong tubig dyan. Later on, as you will notice, bumababa na yung elevated area. Bumababa na siya. Why? Kasi nagkakaroon ng, waves dyan eh. Na-abrase na yung part na yan hanggang sa mawala na yan. Ito. Okay, another example, kapag umulan. Kapag malakas ang ulan, so ito yung bundok, bababa yan ng 2 layers, tapos may ipon siya ng may ipon, hanggang sa mag-create siya ng evident channel here. Tapos nadadala na yung mga ibang parts yan, that is erosion. Tinatanga yung mga buhangin or mga weathered particles ng bundok na yan. So it takes time. This is another example. This one. So, it is another example of erosion by water. So, may mga landforms na nakikreate dyan. For example, the underwater caves. So, nakikreate siya ng mga shapes and structures underwater or caves. Like, for example, sa Palawan. Tapos, may mapapansin kayo na white part dyan sa taas. For example, kasi gawa sa limestone yung rock. Or may part may acid yung isang water. Okay, nag-deposit siya dun tapos nag-react siya dun sa taas. Okay, kaya siya nagkakaroon ng white crystals minsan. Another example is this one. Okay, dati ano yan, punong-puno siya solid, but then due to the water erosion, daan-daan yung tubig, ayan, nag-create siya ng structure sa loob, sa Palawan. That is Palawan. Then we also have here the glacial erosion or erosion by glaciers. So, kapag sinabi natin glaciers, these are huge boulders of rock that keeps on moving. Gumagalaw siya ng tuloy-tuloy. So, paano ba siya nag-erode? Kasi nga tuloy-tuloy siya, di ba? Ibig sabihin, tinatransport niya yung isang rock papunta dun sa another place. Ito yung glacier. Tuloy-tuloy yan na gumagalaw. And this one as well. So, ano ba ang example niyan? For example, ito yung lupa. This one. And then, mayroong glacier dito. Kasi ice. Tapos, gumagalaw nga siya, gumugulong. So, nawe-weather away niya. Nagkakaroon ng abrasion dito. Tapos, gugulong yung glacier. Kaya sinasabing, tinatransport niya yung weathered particle kasi galaw siya ng galaw. Hanggang sa huminto na siya. Okay, doon niya na-deposit dito. Dito niya na-deposit. And then, ayan. This one is beach erosion, another type of erosion caused by water. So, kapag gumagalaw yung tubig dito, nag-swell yung waves, tapos pupunta rito sa beach part, ayan, i-erode niya, dadalhin niya yung mga particles na nandito. Erosion. Tapos, tatangayin na ulit pabalik doon kung saang part ng mundo. Another example of erosion by water, for example, dito yung tubig natin, nag-create siya ng swelling waves, tapos tatangayin niya yung ibang particles dito. That is erosion. Natatangayin niya yan mula dito papunta dun sa ibang lugar. Another example of erosion is erosion by wind. So, this place took place in the Sahara Desert, sa dunes. Okay, Sahara Desert. So, it creates landforms dahil sa wind. So, this is erosion because as you can see from here, tinatangay ng hangin yung mga buhangin na yan. Tinatangay siya ng wind, papunta sa ibang lugar. Now, we also have here, after erosion, what comes next? Kasi tinatangay nga siya, inaalis dun sa isang lugar, papunta dun sa ibang lugar. So, we have here next the deposition or the process of dropping sediment by water or wind. So, we can define this as the process in which the sediment is laid down in new locations. This is the end result of erosion. So, for example, you have here first the weathering. Wait, let us use another color. So, for example, you have here first weathering or the wearing away of the surface of the earth or rock or splitting of the rock. Ayan. Tapos, erosion, dadalhin siya, aalisin siya sa place na to, sa original place na to, papunta sa ibang lugar. Kapag na-deposit siya sa new place na yan, we call that as deposition. Ito yung end product ng erosion. Siyempre, tinangay ng hangin, for example, gradually the wind will slow down and then it will deposit or it will place the sediment into a new place. So, the agents of deposition are wind. Okay, na if you have experience na naglalakad ka tapos napuwing ka, 'di ba? May mga buhangin sa mata mo. So, na-weather mo yung land surface by walking. Ayan, naglakad ka. Yung particles, tinangay ng hangin na puwing ka. Tapos, tatangayin niya ng hangin papunta sa ibang lugar. For example, nasa Manila ka, dadalhin niya sa Quezon City, for example. Sa water naman, for example, yung sa beaches, yung may buhangin dyan, tapos dumaan yung swelling waves, tinangay yung mga buhangin, yung particles, dadalhin niya ngayon yan sa ibang part, let's say Japan. Doon niya i-deposit, yun ang ibig sabihin natin ng deposition, dropping of the sediments into new locations. Sa glacier erosion naman, ang deposition nun sa ibang part din ng bundok or sa ibang part ng place. So, for example, ito yung, yung lupa ninyo, tapos may glacier dyan. When the weather away niya, nagkakaroon ng abrasion na tinatawag. Abrasion or scraping or pagkasugat ng lupa. Di ba kapag nagasgasan yung lupa, magkakaroon siya ng sediments, tapos magro-roll away yung glacier dito. Tapos kapag huminto na yung velocity niya or huminto siya sa mas malaking boulder, hihinto yung glacier. And then, i-deposit niya na rito yung sediments na na-embrace niya rito or nagasgas niya all throughout the journey. Ganun yung ibig sabihin natin ng deposition. So, first, for exogenic processes, para ma-wear away yung surface ng Earth, we have the first process, which is weathering, followed by erosion, which is caused by either by wind, water, glaciers, currents, and then i-deposit niya into new location. So, that is the exogenic processes. And that's all for the lecture in exogenic processes.